by 25% because of me. Take some credit. All right. So Jameson's been around. How long has Jameson been? 2003. 2003. Prior to that?
Prior to that, my partner started with
1939. Okay. Long time. Okay. Chris Egraves, Lawn America. When we do business with Lawn America, they're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Chris, you've been with the company for a little while now.
This is my 10th year.
10th year, and running
Only this year.
operations.
Operations manager.
Yeah.
Head dishwasher.
That's the one. Okay. He is dealing with a lot of stuff in the field, making decisions as far as product and protocol and training. He does a lot with that type of thing. That seems to be your specialty. You really like to make sure your guys are armed with knowledge. Yeah, and he's not afraid to like test and try things and put products through their faces. Luke Hawthorne, Emerald Lawns in Round Rock, Austin, Texas area. You're running on like what, 15 years of yours? More?
13.
13 years. Right. And prior to that, you worked for
Scott's and True.
Scott's and Trubin. Okay. He's running a wonderful, well-oiled machine down there as well. That thing is cranking. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the numbers they put up in sales, and I just want you guys to make sure you heard correctly. Jesse, good old Jesse Smith. He's been sleeping quietly in the back room most of the afternoon. Jesse, what are we, 5 years in? 4 or 5?
Somewhere around the 4, I think.
Okay, we met at a Real Green conference via a golf tournament because we won and we became best buddies, and so that was how that worked. He is second generation in his company. His dad is now just playing golf all the time. Good thing about Jesse, also he's an early adopter of things. He likes to try, test, and use. If you say a product that you're considering, he's probably already done it and can give you some feedback. Okay? Kyle Verona. Kyle Verona. He has been around pest control a long time.
Yes.
You are, I guess, third generation out of Sarasota, Florida. David Pomfret was here last year. His dad was on the round table. If anybody was here and part of that last year, he was part of that. And why I like to have Kyle here. I wanted him here last year, but he stood me up.
That's not my dad.
Yes. Technology, implementing it into your business, how to make it grow, what's really worked well for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. And here is our panel. Okay, so how do you want to start? This is you guys. Jeremy Lagazzi. Let's go. Lagazzi.
Employee hiring process.
Oh boy.
How do you guys market, and do you have some sort of a filter to get the best candidates? And if you do, can you kind of elaborate a little bit?
Who wants to start that? You had to hire a lot of people last year.
We use a software program called Forgely, and it's really helped us quite a bit because it's not just for hiring, it's for people management, but we're just using the hiring portion of it. Actually, Eric uses it for the ongoing people management portion. But what I like about it is when I need a technician or salesperson, I'll call my rep from Forgely and say, hey, I need a salesperson, and they'll place the ad for me on Indeed, and we don't do any paid for ads. It's all just keyword centric. So they're free ads. I mean, obviously I'm paying Forgely, but the ads are technically free, and it holds all when they respond to those ads. It goes into the software, and then I'm able to go through the resumes and rank them a 1 to 5 star system, and I have that available to me for kind of a database. So I'll periodically put ads out whether I'm looking or not, just to have that kind of bench of applicants available. And so when something opens up, because you know that always happens, you have somewhere to start. You maybe your technician ad's not out, but you have a few of them that you were looking at from a couple months ago, and you can start there and then place the new ad out. The other thing I like about it is it has some qualifying questions, which are short, like 5 questions, but it requires the applicant to actually do more than hit submit. Because a lot of times now with Indeed and all the software that's out there, they'll just submit to everything, and you call them and say, hey, I saw your application. And they're like, who are you? And they don't remember you. So that's really helped, just having those 5 basic questions, because they have to put a little bit of thought into it, so they do remember you. And just organization, you used to have like the January, February folders in a file, I have to go dig through. This is so much easier, I can sort it by star ranking, I'll start with my 5s, I'll go to 4s, and so on. So that's really helped me out a lot. I started doing that at the beginning of 2018. And 2017 was a struggle. 2018 was great because I started doing this. It's worked out well. And there's other ones out there. I know Elliot's uses HR, Bamboo HR. That's a different one. But that type of software has really helped me quite a bit.
Are they like, they're not doing any screening for you?
No, there are companies that do that, and I think Brad Bartlett's HR, he
Yeah,
does that.
HRTP does
I use Brad Bartlett, and he does the screening. You pay him a set fee, and he does the screening. They'll place the ad, he reviews the applications, and he does a phone interview, and then he recommends them to you sit down and interview them if he thinks they're worth it. So it's certainly an option to do. It's a little pricier than I like to do, but there's a lot of work that obviously goes into it. If you're out in the field doing something, that'd be worth it for you. But we ended up taking it back in-house just because it was expensive to do, and but kind of followed that same process. So I'll tell Brad, I ripped off his process, but just kind of got an idea of what it is, and we have to do it in-house now.
Was he the guy that was at the FPMA?
Brad has not been out there. He's been in the pest control and lawn care industry for years and years. He's very familiar with our industry, so.
May I add to that?
No, I was gonna say, Indeed is usually a really good place to start. I know there's like Monster, ZipRecruiter, places like that. I know in our area, when we were running Zip, most of what we were getting was from Indeed. So it was kind of one of those, why pay ZipRecruiter? Is there a couple $100 a month, not including any ad spend, stuff like that. So we just got rid of that, just with Indeed. We used a lot of that. We do the same thing with screening questions and everything like that. I usually take it a little bit of a step further in when people apply for the job. Then at that point, I'll send them an application to fill out. It's kind of a filter to see how serious they really are. If I get that application back in a fairly timely fashion, and maybe somebody pretty motivated and looking for a job. Everybody's looking for a job, it's applying for a job, are they looking for your job, and are they gonna be motivated to come work for you? So that kind of helps to weed some of those people out.
Yeah, that's been our biggest problem, is trying to weed them out. We'll get tons of applicants, and like most of them are just trying to hit that bare minimum for unemployment.
Yeah.
It's just like a colossal waste of your time to set them the interview and they don't even show up.
Yeah.
Well, let's put this in perspective a little bit. How many employees do you have? 40 employees?
Right now we got 12.
12?
130.
130?
Around 70.
24.
Okay, so they're hiring people. Like, they have to look for that. Luke's got a pretty big lawn operation. It's humming and it's growing fast. And, he's following a lot of these steps that some of these guys do. Now, earlier I asked anybody if they're really utilizing the Google review thing and actively having their customers review them online. I only saw like 4 hands in here. I would like for these guys to talk a little bit about that. And I am going to start with you because you started the bet with him about it and how that was going to go. First of all, talk about how that started, why you chose to do that, and then let's talk about how many you've gotten.
Okay.
And what that's done for growth.
We use a certain software called Pest Pack. I don't know, some of you guys probably use it, you've probably heard of it, but they had an online review service that didn't really work very well, so I found out about a service called Podium that helps you get reviews through text messages. But me and Eric signed up for it around the same time. We were kind of competing back and forth. At the time, I only had 3. Now I'm at 1,100, and that was at the beginning of 2017. But we were going head to head for a while, and he gave up after a little bit. Yeah, Google reviews.
Google reviews.
Yeah, Google is the main one you want to focus on.
Yeah.
That is. That's
He's
the
at
spot.
500 though. He's still.
Yeah, we're over 500 now. So it works to, the podium allows you to solicit multiple ones, Google, Facebook, doesn't do Yelp anymore, right?
No more Yelp, Yellow pages.
Why not Yelp?
Because Yelp's very restrictive on what they allow you to do.
Yeah.
And they
So
block.
Very corrupt.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
corrupt.
no, I know they're corrupt.
Yeah.
But I
I
still
love
have a
them.
lot of customers that go to Yelp.
Absolutely, we get a ton of leads from Yelp, we pay them and we got like 50-something reviews on Yelp. So, as much as, you can hate them all you want, but they drive customers to you.
Oh, I like it, I'm saying it correct.
I agree, no, I agree.
But the whole reason why we were interested in doing it is because of how people purchase things these days. I'm sure everybody's an Amazon customer, and you know, if you have a widget that's 5 stars and 400 reviews, and a different one that's got 3 stars and 20 reviews, you're gonna buy this one even though it's the same exact thing. And that's how people buy. So we wanted to make sure that we were at the top of the list. When Angie's List was important, we were at the top of the list on Angie's List, and we saw Google shift into going into reviews, and when that happened, we really focused on Google. And it makes your cost per lead go down quite a bit because you're already at the top. And you know, people used to love it, like my salespeople would love it when we had a lead from Angie's List. Oh, this is great, it's an easy sale. Well, now it's a Google lead, and you know, getting your people to realize the importance of it and why you want them to ask your customers for feedback. It's not always good reviews. Sometimes you get a bad review, but you respond back to every single one and you call that customer. As soon as I get a bad review, I'm calling that customer. What do we do? What can we do to fix it? You know, what's going on? And it changes the culture of your company too, to always make sure you're doing the best you possibly can, because they can just tell everybody in the world how terrible you are just as well as they tell everyone how great you are. So, and you know, once you get a bunch of reviews too, you kind of have that culture going. If you do have a bad one, the good thing is you keep getting good ones. You kind of So I get a bad review on Monday, by Tuesday it's gone, or at least it's on the second page or something.
And if you type in pest control anywhere near Sarasota, they're gonna be on the top just because of that.
What he's saying, and I've fought this and fought this and fought this, we just started with coding in January.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it was just a bunch of nonsense. Not at all, I was dead wrong on that, but, and I mentioned earlier, I think on the group meeting was about the chat, web chat, how many people are using that and how much we sold about that so far. I think we're paying $450 a month for Podium, and my son texted me today and said that our sales guy sold a $200 initial and $125 a quarter. Pest control came in at 7 o'clock last night, he was there at 8 o'clock this morning, the inspection was starting tomorrow. So,
Yeah,
I always
patients
can
so
take this if I
fast.
believe it, but the one part I didn't, that he talked about as far as creating culture, when you have a meeting with your folks and you say, look, we're asking,
Yeah.
you know, we're asking for this feedback, we want to know how we're doing. What really opened their, and I didn't appreciate that aspect of it, it really opens everybody's eyes and makes them focusing on, hey, I don't want this, you know, just like you come out of the thing, you don't be on YouTube, you know, tripping in the yard.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on Google with a bad review.
It's true.
You want to be that, so.
Another thing that was really neat, because you were asking about hiring, so when you're on the top of the list and you have a lot of really good reviews, when you have your ad out for job openings, and people Google you and they see all those reviews and they see what a great company you are, or they want to work for you. So I didn't realize that. It's something that I found out after 6 months or so. People are like, oh, how did you hear about us? Well, you have all these great reviews and everybody seems to love it, and we want to work for you. So that helped a lot too, as far as staffing and making sure you're standing out versus your competitor. If they want to do lawns for somebody and you're the top rated in the area and this guy's not, he wants to work for you. So that was an awesome kind of side effect of it too. Oh, he's had his hand up for a while.
Incentivizing, so I work for Rob, there's $22 million in the St. Louis area.
Rottler?
Yeah, and we have, roughly 500 Google reviews. It's by far not the most in St. Louis, but we're just based in St. Louis. Do you do anything to incentivize your techs to try to get those Google reviews?
Absolutely. So we do contests, and there's all kinds of different ways to do it, but at first we give like $10 for every review you got, but it's kind of morphed over time, and now we have like prizes on display. If you get a review, you get like a raffle ticket, and at the company meeting we'll pick a raffle ticket and they could pick a prize. We also do like 2 $50 drawings, at each company meeting once a month, and so people are incentivized to get reviews, but also, if you're a top 5 inviter, you sent the most invites out for the month, you also get a raffle ticket, so it also incentivizes people just to participate. You still have an opportunity to win, because if they send, it's like proposals, if you send an invite out, you'll get them back, if you don't, you won't. So, you might not, one technician might not be comfortable talking to somebody about giving them a review, but they can send the invite regardless after they finish the service, they clock out of the service, they send an invite, and they have a chance to have that come back. And what we kind of found out after doing it over time is about every 35 reviews we send out, we usually get, our invites we get, send out, we get a review. So I make everyone send out at least 35 a month.
What's that ask for the technician? How do you, what's the script, or what's the ask for the technician? Do they have a card? Do they give something out, or do you leave us a review? What's that process when that technician asks?
We don't have a script, but I do tell people, you know, hey, if you feel comfortable asking your customer, hey, it would really help us out, it's how we're growing our business. And the thing too, after a while, most of the time your new customer found you because of the review, and they realize that's how you do business, so they're not questioning that ask. So, hey, if everything went well, would you mind giving us a review? And we don't tell them good or bad. I mean, whatever, give us your feedback. If it's bad, maybe we need to fix something. We just want them to give us their feedback.
And we use a business card, so we don't use Podium, but we use, we have Real Green Systems, and so we use their My Reviews thing there. And so it has just a little website. We put that on a card, so that way the guys that are out in the field, if they don't feel too comfortable talking with the persons, you know, just kind of gushing over them or gushing over like how their lawn looks, you know, I just tell them to keep them in their pocket, you know, just hand them out. That way you don't really have to, you know, sit there and go into a whole sales pitch if they don't want to. They can just sit there and say, hey, that's great, I'm glad to hear that you're so happy about our service here, you know, if you could do me a favor and, you know, leave us a review or whatever. Sometimes if they know they're at a house that likes them, they'll leave it in the bag when they throw it on the door or something like that. Something pretty simple. On one side it says, hey, you know, we'd love to hear your feedback, if you're happy. You know, on the other side, you know, hey, you know, we can handle your problems. Let us know, give us a call, you know, and we can get you taken care of. So it's kind of a, you know, kind of like a flip of the coin there. If you're not happy, well, you know, let us know. We're here to help. If you're happy, then great. Throw a review out for us, please.
Podium, you don't even have to ask. It'll explain it in the text message, and you'll see in the conversion rate, I can tell which one of my technicians are asking the customer for the review, because their conversion is much higher than the guys who just leave and automatically send it every time they leave.
People aren't coming back to y'all upset.
No, because you can only hit them once, so that's the thing. So our sales guys try to hit them, our CSRs try to hit them, our techs, and they'll get a notification that, hey, they've already received one, they're not able to send it. So my guys in the field sometimes complain because the the customer's already been hit by the CSR or the sales guy, and they get out there, they try to send it, and it's, well, it's already been sent, too bad, so.
So you can send it to their email as much as you like.
Yes, you can.
Now, does that integrate through the text?
No, it's all Podium.
It's all Podium?
Yeah, so they're just putting in a mobile number.
There's other
And if
ones
that
too.
mobile number's been put in before, we'll.
I think this might be important to point out too. So PestPack is what you're on. PestPack is what you're on. Real Green. These are all Real Green guys. Real Green is here. If you guys have it, right there. Magic Man is back there if you want to talk to it. And you guys utilize very many aspects of Real Green. You want to talk a little bit about that, on how you advertise with that? Well, I don't need to lead this on. Benny, you've been standing there with your hand up. I'm sorry.
Do you incentivize to the customer at all to leave you a review?
No,
Or if they leave you a review, do you,
no,
nothing, just,
never.
It don't. If
Just
Google,
say
if Google catches whiff of that, it's
Yeah,
not.
Google it.
Get blacklisted.
Big brother Google, if they find out, they're gonna get mad at you. But I've seen companies that do it.
Like, I have I attach like the short version of the Google review link in a lot of emails. Sometimes I just say, hey, how are we doing, kind of like what you guys are saying. But like with Podium, like, how is that different? Like, is it just,
It's just, it makes it easy.
is it just send like, you're saying it sends text out, or?
Yeah.
You get a higher response with text than you do email.
Right.
Much
It
higher.
just makes it easy. So
Okay.
they get the text message, they click the link, it takes them right there.
Sure.
So it just makes it streamlined.
And I mean, you know, in my area, I do that too. I'll alternate it occasionally, especially if I'm talking to a client. I say, you know, hey, you know, if you
just give us, or if you could give us some feedback, that'd be great. And I'm like, doop, 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 here you go, you know, it'll send it right to them.
Well, there's plenty of other options now too. That's what we used, cause
Sure.
that was 2 years ago. But there's other ones that have come up, and I've talked to other companies that have been very successful with reviews just by sending links themselves. Or I had one guy I talked to in Fort Myers that got like 300 reviews. He just started like 2 years ago.
Yeah, organic. I
Yeah.
met with him and talked to him about doing all this. He said, well, I'm not gonna pay for a service, I'm just gonna get out there and ask for it.
I guess the issue is like, I'm just out there actively trying to, not give people incentives to do it, but I just want their feedback. But it seems like in my region, people say, oh yeah, no problem, and then the next thing is like crickets, you don't hear anything.
It's just like in anything today, you gotta make it as easy as possible.
And that's, you know, and that's why, like I said, it's a lot of
If it
times.
takes more than 2 steps, 3 steps, then
Yeah,
don't do it.
most of the time it's attached in an email, like it's kind of like sitting at the bottom, it's there, they
Big
can
at the
see
top.
it. Yeah.
It's like that simple.
And then other times, you know, it can be, like I said, when I speak with a client and they're happy, I send them a direct text that has that link in there. They're like, oh, John, I love you, yeah, we're gonna get you a review, and it's like, all right, and you get a little pumped up, and I'm like, I walk away, and I'm like, no, they're not gonna give you a fucking review. So, I mean, it's not terrible, because like in my area, when people put in, you know, lawn care in my town that I service, or the 2 towns that I service, I always pop up organically in that maps box, and then I'm like 1 or 2, or actually just after like True Green and Lawn Doctor and everybody that pays, you know, so I'm just, it's, I hear this and I'm like, I want what you guys have. I'm trying. What's gonna make me, if I spend, do I have to throw a lot of money at this thing?
Oh, and,
You know.
and getting reviews in our area is like almost impossible. I mean,
Okay.
you have to like beat down the door and take somebody's hand and try to get them
Yeah.
to do it, because they don't want to. I mean, for all the cards we throw out, we get very few reviews back, just because of, I mean, that's how people are. They're not very sociable, they're very introverted, especially when it comes to what they do around their home and stuff like that. They don't want to talk about it a whole lot. But it's just trying to break down that barrier and keep it going, you know, I mean, you know, we don't spend a whole lot. I can't really recall off the top of my head what we spend for the My Reviews, you know, but then we just incorporated, we use call tracking metrics for our phone service. And so they have, you know, texting within that. I think the text costs like 1.2 cents to send out. So that's all we did. We just created a text message that we send out with a hyperlink, and we send it out there. And, you know, costs us a penny to send them out.
Sure.
You know, it's not that big. We don't have to spend a lot of money to do it, because, you know, until we start getting a lot of reviews and people start really coming around in our area, you know, it's hard to spend 400, you know,
That's what I-
couple
I-
dollars
I
to,
thought the money part,
you know,
because I
to,
thought it
you
was-
know, to justify that right now.
He said we'd make us money, and I was like, bullshit, Tremaine, I'm not believing. And I was dead wrong. I mean, we've more than made enough money with, and then that was adding the extra feature, the chat feature, adding that feature with what we sell after 6 o'clock at night, when 6:30 when I go home, till 6 o'clock the next morning. I mean, we've more than paid for what we pay for just the other part of getting it. When you start looking at it from a cost standpoint, how we've affected the culture of our company, the actual leads and what we've sold, plus review, which helps us get more leads. It was, I mean, in retrospect, easiest decision I made. When I bought it for a year.
With employees, with Podium, you could, it's competition too at that point. So everybody, there's a leaderboard, so my guys go in and they can see, like, we just started allowing the CSRs to do it. And I went in the office and the first thing, oh my God, the CSRs are just sending everybody. And so they're like up there on the leaderboard, sending these things out now, competing with my techs. So it creates the competitive environment with Podium. That's one of the things I like about it, but it is a cost.
What are you guys seeing in terms of customer acquisition costs in terms of various forms of marketing? Maybe like some of the best, some of the worst, and also maybe 5 years from now, how do you see that changing?
I can take it to Google. It's expensive. So for Google AdWords, we're averaging anywhere, and I've seen it vary so much by market because of talking with other people. But I can tell you that around our market, we're paying anywhere from 115 to 130 a lead, and you're closing those at 30, 35%. So you're well over $300 in a cost per sale. It's a lot.
It's definitely by area though, cause
Yeah, cause
he's
yeah,
in Southeast Florida,
I always
I'm in
call him.
Southwest Florida, and
Where'd
I'm
you get
like, yeah, mine's like $60
yeah.
per click, but really what drives down our marketing costs is the reviews, to be honest, because there's not really a cost associated. I mean, you can put in the podium costs as your marketing, but prizes can be part of your marketing cost, but all those reviews that keep you on top. And I look at my overall marketing spend for the year and the number of leads I've gotten in, not breaking it down by every little thing. It's really like $30 a lead. It's super cheap compared to what it used to be, easily $80 to $100 a lead. And it's really because of the review.
Yes, Dave.
Especially for the guys who use Real Green for the reviews, do you find it as good as the Google reviews, or are they tied to Google, or how does that work?
So yeah, it's tied to really whatever review sites you want it to be. So I only do it for three. I do it for Google, Facebook, and Yelp. Just because with Google, the only thing that really sucks about Google is you can really only leave a Google review if you have a Google account. And so if you're like a diehard iPhone person, typically you don't have a Google account, so you can't leave a Google review. But usually those people have Facebook or Yelp or something, so they can leave a review there. But if you anything you can leave a review on, like Angie's List, like there's a whole bunch of other ones. You can do it, and all you got to do is just set up which ones you want, which ones you don't, and then within the command center. If you use like AMA or, I guess it's just AMA, not CAW, but if you use AMA, you have that command center, and you can actually go in there, you can actually see how you're doing for each one. It'll give you, you have a 4.5 review for Facebook, you have a 4.6 review, stars for Google, hey, you have 9 reviews that you haven't responded to, and it'll let you go in there, reply to them and all that stuff. So
Can you attach those to an after-service email, or?
Yes, yeah, they can attach to the after-service email, before-service emails, really any emails that you send out. They have like a little snippet that you can just cut and paste and put it right on your like just regular emails that you send out. Put that block on there, and like I say, I use it just to put it in text messages. So this year we're actually just sending text messages out. So when a technician actually goes out, does the service, talks to a customer, we'll send them a review. If somebody in the office while they're talking on the phone, because we use a soft phone system, so they're on the computer anyway. So they'll just go in there as they're talking, and they'll text message somebody there and say, hey, you'd be so kind to leave us a review. Click on the link below, and it's something really easy for them to do. So we just started doing that about a week ago, so I don't really have much to say as to how well it's working.
Okay, I have one for everybody, and we'll just go down the line on this, because I think for a lot of guys in here who are growing their businesses and getting everything going, the question is, where should I spend my advertising dollars, and what's getting the best return for you? What have you seen the most luck with, and actually been able to track? And I just like to go that down the line. So I think when I have a lot of conversations with people, what should I do? This person wants $1,000 to send 500 forms out or whatever. The smaller guys get really taken advantage of on a lot of that material when they're trying to figure it out themselves. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. But I think this is a question that should be, for this type of group that's doing advertising, what do you have the most success with?
So I can't speak to it. All we really do is digital. So I don't even have, we just printed a brochure. And I haven't printed a brochure in probably 8 years. So we just got a brochure set up. I do all digital. I can't say it's the best, but it's what I like about when I do Google AdWords, although they're very expensive, they're so specific. You can narrow it down to the T, what keywords are working, what your conversion rate on those are, what your closing rate on those keywords are, so you could really narrow it down, but you gotta have somebody that can really work that, do it. So I put a lot of money into my Google AdWords, probably more than I should because my market is so saturated with it. But I like the idea that even though it's expensive, I know where it's going, to where when I sometimes do other things, you can't really tangibly measure it. So Google AdWords for me is the most measurable, exact lead source I do, and I do a lot of it.
Is that like pay-per-click? What do you say?
Yeah, the pay-per-click, the different from the SEO. So the SEO, you're paying them, you know, you're throwing money at a SEO company to feed you these leads that you're hoping they found through putting like Fort Lauderdale pest control, not Hoffer pest control. You know, you try to always weed out the, what they call the direct leads and stuff. So that's even a little harder to get more specific. But Google, because Google can block it. Like if somebody doesn't want their information found, it'll just say for keyword or what they typed in to find you, it'll say not said on organic search. And Google purposely did that because you have to pay Google in order to see that data. So if somebody clicks on an ad, one of your ads, they're agreeing to transfer their data to you, so you know the exact keywords and everything that go with it. So that's why AdWords for me is so powerful, but I'm finding it's just getting so expensive. It's just going up every year, my cost, and it's starting to become not a feasible thing. I mean, our average dollar per pest control for the year is what, $500, $550, and my cost per sale is in the 300s, 400. So that's before I can pay my sales guys, my technicians, my vehicles. When you got an average, when you're keeping customers on average for 30.5 years, it ends up being worth it, but it's a lot of money out front. I look at it as if you're going to buy a company, you're going to buy a company for $1, $1.50 on a dollar. I'm basically buying a lead almost for cheaper than that, actually. And they do work the way I do it. They do credit card on file, automatic billing. They're my customer, so I've kind of swallowed that pill and just decided that's what you got to do.
We do TV, radio, and online, probably a third. TV is what we get the most comments on, but lead-wise, it's very good. I mean, referrals is still our biggest lead source, no matter what we do, but of the ones where they're coming in, and then with one of the nice things about Riveting is you cannot put a customer in there unless they say where they came from. So we're on 5 different radio stations in the morning. So with us, I have the ability to look back and say, okay, it's not just my radio budget, but how did your show compare to your show compared to your show? So now at the end of the year, we start negotiating, you know, which shows we want to be back on, if we want to be back on that show, how well they perform, all that. The other thing we've learned is we only advertise in the morning on radio, and we only do lives. If it's a spot that you're just, you know, recording a 30-second spot, they're hitting the button and going somewhere else, and we can develop a relationship with a personality in our marketplace or specific, you know, it's a destination radio, and they're talking about something, they go, you know, I was out in my yard, and then it goes right in our commercial. That's hands down the best thing we can do. That and PBS has done it.
I'm not as involved, as in-depth as you guys are. I'm not involved with the advertising. I can say that we do everything from mail out to TV to, you know, internet advertising and billboards, cold calling. I'm not sure which one of those provides the biggest number, but I know for a fact over the years that the actual customer referrals outweighs the number from any one single campaign a customer has gotten and the customers that stay. Customers that stay the longest were referred by somebody that was a customer. So don't lose yourself in all the advertising would be my advice, to where that you keep your customers. They're going to be your biggest and cheapest advertising.
And we developed a $50 bill with my partner, who's the advertising person. People know his name because his dad goes back to 1939. We put his picture right in the middle of $50 bill, and on the front, it's got, you know, $10 or $50 bill in the back. It's got referral friend information. So we're leaving that every time we're doing a service, and hey, you know, refer a friend this week, $50 off your next service.
That's the same offer that we have, $50 referral.
Yeah. And we push that hard.
Sir.
We do everything too. We do TV and all that stuff, but if I could have gone back in time, I would have put all my focus, or almost all my focus on just the internet, AdWords, pay-per-click, Facebook. Facebook is really coming on strong, but I'm afraid it's starting to get a little bit saturated. The referral, even, my advertising budget was $780,000 this year, and still referrals drive over 50% of our business. So whatever you can do drive referrals, like, that's a good idea, $50 bill. But,
Catches it.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Whatever you can do to drive referrals, man, that's gonna be your money maker, because that's a free sale. And like, I thought my cost per sale, which is like between $150 and $160, I thought that was a lot, because it's $300 or $400, but his referrals are free. So if you're just starting off, if you're small and you don't have a big budget, you know, for advertising and marketing, and AdWords and Facebook, you know, it's worth it to put the money in AdWords. I know it's expensive and it costs money, but if you have the infrastructure and you can handle the sales, then you need to put that money into that.
Dan, Magic Man, do you have the number of cost per acquisition? Last time I heard.
We usually are in the $120 range.
Really what you wanna look at is what value is an average customer. You get $400 a year, $500, and that can adjust what the cost of sales. If you get $1,000 a year out of somebody, yeah, spend $200, $300. But if they're getting $500, you wanna keep that down closer to the $100 mark. And you're right, referrals is probably one of the best leads you can get, because they tend to spend more money, they have a lower cancellation rate, it's easier to sell. We have a referral program that's built into our customer website. And when we send an after-service email or before service, we always put a little ad on there, don't forget to refer your friends, because you're gonna get something, your friends are gonna get something, everybody wins. And so we have our customer portal, the refer a friend page actually has a spot where they can actually post something on their Facebook page that's already pre-written. And it's hyperlinked from that person back in to collect their information. Or they tweets or emails and stuff like that. So we want to try and make it as easy as possible for your customers to go ahead and refer their friends. So we try and automate that process as much as possible. You're right, I mean, referrals are great, it's the lowest cost sale you can get. And I know you guys are talking a lot about internet marketing. We, you know, obviously we do a lot, we focus a lot on marketing. We do the AdWords and stuff like that, but I'm still kind of old-fashioned. I think referrals, using lawn posting signs, making sure your trucks are branded. I mean, all that comes into play. It gives you credibility. Getting good reviews out there. We have that review process. And I still believe that referrals and then target marketing the neighbors of existing accounts, because it's probably the next best lead. You know, everyone else in this neighborhood uses your services except for this one guy. He's guilt tripped into it. So we do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. And again, that's a low-cost marketing campaign.
I think you guys are sending, I know you have in the past, so you guys will send a postcard 3 days after we do somebody's lawn, so they'll have our flag, and then their neighbors will be seeing our flag for 3 days, and then they all get a postcard in the mail.
Right, it's called a neighbor production postcard. And the idea is that you have your technicians in the area and they're working, their trucks are driving around, your lawn signs are out front, and then all of a sudden the neighbors of the people that just got service get this postcard saying, hey, service your neighbors, and we actually list the street addresses of the closest connected house to that person. They have the postcard, some sort of special offer, and your phone number and an expiration date, you know, that call to action, make sure that they pick up that phone. And they get this card, you know, oh, there's your truck right now, I'm just driving by, and oh yeah, my next door neighbor uses you, and my wife says, how come their place looks so much better than ours? So they work really good, especially, you know, in the spring when things are happening outside, they work fantastic, so, you know, they're cheap and inexpensive.
Cool. All right, hold on. I want to jump back to one thing. Now, Luke opened up a new branch last year, San Antonio. So he's in Austin. This was a little further away. Takes a little while to go down there. Are you focusing more on Google AdWords in that market?
I'm going to be careful in San Antonio.